She has long been admired for her steadfast devotion to duty and her unflinching practicality. But perhaps her most radical act was not performed on the public stage of monarchy or at glittering state banquets, but within the quiet walls of her home, where she quietly broke with centuries of tradition. For long before modern parenting styles became a fashionable trend, she was the first royal mother to change her children's nappies herself, refusing to delegate the most intimate aspects of care to nannies as generations of Windsor women had done before her, and by embracing these seemingly ordinary routines, Anne revealed a side of royal motherhood that was deeply human, resolutely hands-on, and profoundly ahead of its time. She relished bathing her children, making their breakfast with her own hands, and personally waking them each morning, forging a closeness with Peter and Zara that rivaled, and some would even say surpassed, her lifelong passion for competitive horse riding, a sport that had defined much of her early life and won her international acclaim. Unlike many royal mothers burdened with crowded schedules and endless public engagements, Anne carved out deliberate time for her family, insisting that the truest reflection of a child's upbringing lay not in the speeches read on their behalf or the titles bestowed at birth, but in the everyday consistency of a parent's presence, a principle she embodied with the same discipline and resolve that had carried her across Olympic courses on horseback. Palace staff who observed her routine were often startled by her refusal to let others step in, for she would insist on handling her children's morning rituals herself, sometimes to the surprise of courtiers who expected the daughter of a queen to uphold the aloof customs of her ancestors. Yet for Anne, parenting was never a ceremonial duty to be performed at a distance. It was her most valued role, a calling she embraced with grit and determination, and in doing so, she reshaped what it meant to be a royal mother in an era that was just beginning to question the balance between duty and domesticity. Historians now look back on those choices as quietly revolutionary, noting that the Princess Royal's approach to motherhood may well have laid the groundwork for the more relatable styles of parenting later embraced by her nephews William and Harry, and even more so by Catherine, Princess of Wales, who has often echoed Anne's philosophy that royal children deserve a sense of normalcy. What makes Anne's story remarkable is not simply that she performed tasks considered beneath royalty, but that she did so with complete conviction, never for the sake of image or popularity, but because she believed in her pragmatic and no-nonsense way that this was what mothers ought to do. Today, as she continues to serve with tireless dedication well into her 70s, her legacy as both a royal figure and a devoted parent endures, and those who admire her point not only to her record of engagements and public service, but also to the quieter victories of her private life, where the Princess Royal demonstrated that true courage sometimes lies not in the grandeur of state occasions, but in the humility of everyday acts of love.